Footage in this video includes installers working on a home with asbestos siding. Before drilling or removing asbestos siding, check with your supervisor. Follow local regulations to ensure worker and public safety. Insulating exterior walls is an important part of a total home weatherization job. For many homes, heat loss through walls is a major cause of high heating bills and uncomfortable rooms. Existing exterior walls can be blown with insulation from the exterior or interior of the house. This video will show procedures for blowing insulation from the exterior. You will learn how to conduct a pre-insulation check of the house, how to locate and drill access holes when dealing with different types of siding, probe walls for obstructions, blow insulation to ensure proper density and a complete fill, plug and finish holes, and communicate to the homeowner about the work you've done. First, let's look inside a frame wall. The basic elements of a wood frame wall are the plates at the top and bottom of the wall and the studs that go between the plates. In most homes that need wall insulation, studs are placed 16 inches on center. Windows usually create cavities on the sides and underneath that may not follow the 16-inch on-center spacing of the rest of the wall. And where interior walls meet exterior walls, often narrow cavities may be created. Normally, on homes with more than one story, each story has a separate frame wall with top and bottom plates, so the walls of each floor have to be insulated separately. You may find older multi-story homes in which the wall cavities are open the entire height of the home. It's also possible that these cavities may not be closed at the top or bottom. The difficulty insulating finished frame walls is that often there are obstacles inside the cavities that can block the insulation. For example, these horizontal pieces of wood, called fire stops, divide each cavity into two sections. Fire stops are often found in older homes. Fire stops are usually at the same height in each cavity. These diagonal pieces of wood are called corner braces. They slope downward through several cavities from the corner of the house. There may be other obstacles in cavities like electrical wiring, plumbing pipes, heating and ventilating ducts, and recessed cabinets. Not only can these obstacles block the insulation, they can also be a safety hazard when you're drilling into the cavity. Unfortunately, you can't see any of these potential problems, but if you miss them, you may leave large uninsulated sections of wall, or you may create a safety hazard. That's why your first job on site is to look for clues that will help you determine what's inside the walls. After you drill holes, you will also need to probe the cavities to feel for obstructions. Let's start with the pre-insulation check of the house. Walk around the inside of the house and try to identify possible electrical, plumbing, or heating and ventilating equipment and ducts inside the exterior walls. If possible, do this check with the owner, who may know what's inside a wall. Make notes on a sketch of the home where each obstruction is, so you can later mark the walls on the outside. Look under sinks for plumbing pipes coming from the wall. This wall register indicates ductwork running through the wall cavity, or the cavity itself is used as a duct. In either case, the cavity should not be insulated. If you find wall heaters in exterior walls, do not insulate the cavity unless you're certain there is fire stopping to prevent insulation from coming in contact with the heater. Disconnect electrical power at the fuse or breaker box. Then remove the entire heater assembly. If fire stopping is present, it will be a piece of wood nailed to block the cavity directly above the heater. If you can't see fire stopping, don't insulate the cavity. If electric ranges or dryers are on exterior walls, make a note to position the drilled holes to avoid the wiring that may be in the walls. Check around bathtubs for the plumbing in exterior walls. There can be large holes in these areas. In this bathroom, there's a recessed medicine cabinet in an exterior wall. Another place to look for built-ins is in the kitchen. You want to be sure not to drill into these areas. The owner of this house points out an area around a baseboard heater where he has felt lots of air leakage. That's a good sign of a place where insulation could escape into the house. All electrical cover plates on exterior walls should be in place so insulation won't escape into the room. Also, check where the dryer vent goes through the exterior wall. Make sure insulation cannot escape into the vent when the cavity is filled. Inspect the walls from the basement or crawl space. Here, the installer checks to make sure the cavities are blocked so insulation doesn't come through to the basement. He also checks the rake attics on this story-and-a-half house. Sometimes the connection between the knee wall and the exterior wall is open. If you find these conditions, you should plug them so insulation doesn't go where you don't want it. Some wall materials may be poorly attached to the framing. Press on suspected walls. If the wall is springy, make a note to blow at a lower pressure. The occupant should remove pictures and other objects hanging from walls so they don't fall during the installation. After you've completed your pre-installation check inside the house and made notes on your work order, walk around the outside of the house and mark the exterior wall at the places where drilling should not be done or where special precautions should be taken. While you're doing this, also check for household items stored against the outside walls. You may find gardening tools or firewood that are in the way of the insulation job. Ask the owner to move them. If trees or shrubs are in the way, you'll have to tie them back from the house so you can get at the siding. Once you've completed these tasks, you're ready to drill holes. Different types of siding require different procedures. Here, holes are drilled directly through lap siding. After filling the cavities with insulation, the holes are sealed with wood plugs. Notice how the plug is recessed slightly into the siding. Then, spackle is carefully applied so the wall is ready for painting. Here's a different approach. With shingles, you can remove individual shingles and drill the holes through the sheathing behind it. The shingles on this house are very brittle. To avoid breaking them during removal, special tools are used. After filling with insulation, the holes are plugged and sealed weather tight using the same techniques as shown before. Then the siding is reinstalled. Ask your supervisor how to handle other types of siding such as vinyl, board and batten, and brick.